Domestic indicators and international standing. Our union is far from united. They're fragmented politically, racially, and economically. Protests, which often turn violent, are being held every day across the country. And yet we hear no unifying messages or proposals to promote healing from our leaders. On the contrary, extremists are often praised, even encouraged publicly. It is shocking to hear widespread civil arrests being condoned in this way. COVID-19 is responsible for more than 200,000 deaths in the USA, and there is no end in sight. This number could have been as low as 40,000 had the public been offered clear guidance and a consistent messaging. And yet there is continuing conflict between the medical experts and the administration, and this is for political reasons. The economy is so much more than the stock market. Only 55% of Americans own stocks, and the top 20% own 92% of the market. So the bottom 80% gain little or nothing from a rising market. A truer measure of the financial health of a nation are GDP, gross domestic product, and employment statistics. The GDP declined 5% in the first quarter of 2020 and 32% in the second quarter. Even worse today, 14 million unemployed Americans may not be able to feed their families or pay their rent. This in turn hurts retailers, landlords, and lenders. The pain is felt across all segments of the population. 72% of Latinos, 60% of Blacks, 55% of Native Americans, 37% of Asians, and even 36% of whites are feeling financial pain. The top 10% of the population is still thriving economically since they own 81% of the market, and the market is up. But our working and middle classes are experiencing significant financial losses with little hope in sight. Healthcare is not secure. The current proposals to rescind many, if not all, provisions of Obamacare are causing anxiety. In particular, the loss of coverage for pre-existing conditions could mean that COVID-19 survivors who end up with lasting complications could find themselves without coverage. The checks and balances that we rely on have been severely weakened. Experienced leaders in the administration and senior civil servants have been replaced by yes men and women who often have no prior expertise in the areas that they're managing. Previously respected members of the president's own party in the House and Senate have been intimidated into silence and collusion. The press is subjected to insults and even threats and continually accused of lying. The judiciary has been packed with jurists who are not always competent and who, rather than aspiring to impartiality, have known biases and declared interests. These practices are not dissimilar to contemporary autocrats overseas. In Venezuela, where I'm from, Chavez attracted public support through demagoguery and first came to power through free elections. Chavez subsequently eliminated the free press and private broadcast stations and diminished many of the institutions of government. And he replaced all the Supreme Court justices with his own partisans. In the past, these practices not only succeeded in developing countries, seldom in a country with an educated population, although I must say that Italy and Germany come to mind as exceptions. International leaders and observers are concerned to see the U.S. abdicate its role as champion of global cooperation, collaboration, and human rights. The USA has stepped away from or weakened many of the international agreements and initiatives, including climate leadership, the World Health Organization, our support for the Kurds in Syria, who had lost 1,000 lives for every American dead soldier. The abdication of responsibility has led the U.S. to lose significant global power and prestige and puts our nation in greater danger. The loss of influence also dangerously undermines international efforts to slow climate change and to establish friendly and equitable relationships between nations. There is no doubt that Russia is continuing its effort to influence the November election, and yet the warnings go unheeded. The past 4 years have not made America great. These years have resulted in growing cracks in the institutions, traditions, safeguards, and social structures of our country. We must make a change and restore trust and standing to our country, both domestically and internationally. Be sure to vote. Vote as soon as you're able to. Encourage your family and friends to do the same. Our future and the future we leave our children depends on it. Thank you.